So Petey the Beast here, back with another video. This hopefully will be the last time we use 2K20 gameplay, because
welcome everyone to another.
This most likely will be the last time we see 2K20 gameplay, and the reason for that is because the new game is coming out hopefully tomorrow at midnight. So yeah. So I have one thing to talk about. Let's talk about the first round. But before we talk about anything about the playoffs, let's start with, some NBA news. So, if you didn't hear the news, Steve Nash is the coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Surprising it's not the Phoenix Suns, even though they wouldn't fire their coach after going 9-0, but 8-0 in the bubble. But the reason I say it's not surprised it's not the Suns is because he played basically his whole career in a Suns jersey. And I said basically because he obviously played for the purple and gold, and people know him mostly for his Mavericks and Suns days. Okay, so also, yeah, he's the coach of Brooklyn Nets. But basically, let me also talk about the first round matchups. Now we got the Magic versus the Bucks. That series, everybody, if you thought the Magic were taking a game, I don't know what's, but they did take a game somehow, but they bounced back, took 4 straight games. Giannis was pretty good. Chris Middleton wasn't his best, but he was still good. And then you got that was a good series. The Heat versus the Pacers was a good series. Obviously, people were hyping it up because of the TJ Warren versus Jimmy Butler matchup, but it was a good series because we saw some great matchups in that game. Saw some good matches, but all in all, it was a sweep. And then we got so next we got after that we got we got the 2v7 seed, which was the Raptors versus the Nets. That was a sweep. And basically every single series in the West was a sweep except for the Bucks, which was supposed to be the most obvious sweep. So I don't know how that didn't turn out to be a sweep. So let me just skip that and let's go to the West, where things were spicy. We got the Lakers versus the Trailblazers. It was, on paper, it looked like one of the best series of the first round, but it turned out to be pretty, the Trailblazers took one game. Us Lakers fans were, a little scared for a minute, but then, we just took 4 straight games, especially one on Kobe Day, and on that day, the score was 8-24 one time. And also, so that's where I'm gonna talk about other places. Like, you know, like, you know, the Clippers versus the Mavericks. I was signing up for a second. The Clippers versus the Mavericks. The Clippers versus the Mavericks was a good series. And, you know, that crazy game winner. But all in all, you know, we saw the Clippers take it. And then we got my two favorite series of the second round, of the first round, I mean. We got the Utah Jazz versus the Denver Nuggets. I'm gonna save that for last because I think that was the best series by far. Let's talk about one of the best series, but my second favorite, you know, and it was the CP3 versus his former team that traded him versus, you know, and it was looking like that series was going to Houston. First two games 2-0, and then OKC took two straight games, and then when they took those two games, I thought, you know, and then the Rockets went up 3-2, but you know, the Rockets went up 3-2, but it didn't, you know, the Rockets went up 3-2, but to me, I thought OKC was gonna close it out that game, but Russell Westbrook didn't play real good. And then Game 7, I was going for the Jesus Christ, I just hit a full court with Shaq. Game 7, you know, since they had, you know, one of the clutchest players, a clutch player in Chris Paul, I thought, you know, OKC was going to take it home. But that James Harden block was crucial. And then you got that steal on the last possession when OKC had the chance to take it to overtime. That was crazy. And then we got my favorite series, because Donovan Mitchell had the third most playoff points ever in the first playoff game against each other. Like, oh my god. And they were just dropping 50 and 40 bombs. 50 and 40 bombs. Like the defense couldn't do anything. Like, I think every single game, except for Game 7, at least one player dropped 50 or 40. And Game 7, Jokic, you know, did it good. He also got the game winner. But, you know, the Nuggets almost sold. Like, the Nuggets almost sold. They had to give it to Mike Conley. Mike Conley had the ball. You saw Donovan Mitchell screaming for the ball, but if the time ran up, won the pass, it didn't matter. So he had to take the shot. He missed the shot, but it was about to go in, but he missed the shot, so that was the end of Donovan Mitchell's season. And just to point out, they were down 3-1. and they somehow, like, that's the first 3-1 lead of, that's the first blown 3-1 lead of the 2020s. We had two in the 2010s, two popular ones in the same year too, and then in the 2020s we got it going off early. Okay, and I'm gonna just talk about a little of the second round. You know, I'm gonna just talk about one of the series, and that's the Miami Heat. That's the only thing I want to talk about the second round. The Miami Heat looking like they're gonna upset. Obviously, I had the Bucks beating them, but now I think it might go 5 or 6, like maybe even 7. But Jimmy Butler's been doing great. And remember when ESPN said there was a 0.2 chance of the OKC Thunder making the playoffs? And they made the 5 seed, proved everybody wrong. They won a series in 7. They almost won a series in 7. It was one turnover caused them the game. And that was not a foul. Chris Middleton got 3 easy, 3. I don't know why they gave that a foul. That was not a foul. That was good defense. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. That was good defense. But the referees, I don't know, they just gave it to him. Obviously so, but it's Giannis. Also, let me talk about the 2 awards announced. There's been 3 awards announced. Nick Nurse, I already talked about Nick Nurse. Now let me talk about Giannis. This is DPOY, and which Anthony Davis deserves. But the reason they gave it to Giannis is because he was the best defensive player on. He was the leader of the best defensive team in the league. While AD definitely had better numbers, Giannis was just the best defender on the. AD deserved it, but Giannis was the best defender on. The leader of the defender. That's the leader of the defense. That was the best in the league. So AD should have won it, but since he was the best defender on the best defensive team, they gave it to him. And most improved, congrats to Brandon Ingram, former Laker, traded him for AD. Still not mad though, but he, I wouldn't say I think Bam should have won the award, but I'm happy, I'm happy it wasn't someone else. Same thing for Giannis was gonna win DPOY if it wasn't AD. If it wasn't Giannis, it was AD. If it wasn't AD, it was Giannis. Yeah, so I think that's gonna be the end of this Let's Talk Basketball. If you like these kind of videos, drop your boy a like. Also subscribe. It's been your boy Lil PD the Beast. I'm out. Peace. Out with nothing, I was hungry. Now I got a couple on me. I don't wanna be your homie. I had to make a